Hi everyone. So I am here with a bonus surprise love reading. I was getting the message I've been having an urge to record a love reading. And I was told to record it and share it with everyone. So welcome back to my channel, Athena's Armor. I'm so happy to have you here. This is not a very common occurrence that I come in with a specific intention, but I've been wanting to do a love reading for myself. I asked God and Spirit if I should expand it for everyone, and the answer I heard was yes. So here we are. God, we ask that you imbue this love reading with your clear, concise, and helpful messages. We ask that only your energies and the energies that you ordain as good and right be allowed in this reading and in our life at all times. Oops. Okay, leave this out. Okay. I'm being told to pull two from the top, one on either side. And then one before. Okay. Okay. Oh, goodness. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow, this is interesting. So if you are tuning in from any of the previous messages, these are repeating cards. 7 of Wands and 3 of Wands are repeating cards from previous messages. Death is new. Death has not come out in any of my readings on the channel yet, but I've only done, I think, 3. Let me ask, what's the message coming through here? I heard battle. It's a battle. Not necessarily that love is a battle. One second. My cat wants to come inside. Okay. So I'm hearing battle. It's a battle. Not necessarily that love. Wait, no, it's saying yes, love is a battle. What does that mean? I mean, we have battle imagery, with death. Death is a knight on a horse, right? And he's carrying his flag. I guess if we look at that as like battle, death always wins. That's the funny thing about death. It's not funny, but it even conquers kings, the young, the old, the religious, the pure. Death conquers everything. Death will always win. And when I say that, I don't mean that in a pessimistic way or a fatalistic way. What I'm saying is that everything has to come to an end. And that's what this card is saying. Not even literal death, but everything has to come to an end. Depending on who you ask, I'd have to look more into this, but there's either a sunrise or a sunset happening between these two pillars. And if it's sunrise in the distance, it means something new is already being born, is starting after death has destroyed the old. Let's look it up. Okay, so it's saying it can be read either way. I'm wondering if these two together are suggesting something of, because 3, this is my visualization card, right? He's visualizing his kingdom in a barren land. But the wands is the suit of innovation and creation and energy. And here's another wands suit, but this is feeling put upon by those things. This being in reverse suggests to me that there is some maybe some pessimism, some doubt, some fear or concern or self-criticism when it comes to visualizing what you want in love. And maybe you feel threatened by the visualization. Maybe you feel threatened by seeing what it is you want. Maybe it's overwhelming. Maybe you feel like you won't be able to get it. Maybe it makes you feel worse, right? And puts you in this reverse 3 of Wands energy. Death is telling me that this energy is going to come to an end, and it must come to an end. Okay, interesting. So everybody loves the 6 of Cups. It's an adorable card. And a lot of times it does speak to love. Some people read it as someone from your past returning. Other people read it just as a sense of nostalgia, of safety. I think, that's normally how I read it. It's a sense of nostalgia and safety and being cared for, innocence, purity in being cared for. Then we have the Hierophant, which normally speaks to structured wisdom, to school, to education, to tradition. And lastly, the 4 of Swords, rest, rejuvenation, rebirth, right? 4 of Swords is, well, again, let's go through the suits, right? Swords is logic, it's reason, it's rationale, right? It's about thinking very much over, the feeling of Cups, right? Or the action of Wands. And so in the 4 of Swords, you can put down your sword. See? It's a knight resting. He doesn't even have his sword. It means you can rest your logical brain for a little while. And I think the intuitive message that I'm getting is you know enough from traditional wisdom and structure about love, about how you should be loved, about how you should be treated, about what a healthy relationship looks like. I think whoever is watching this has gained enough knowledge in the structural, traditional, rational sense, right? about what love, what healthy love should look like, what a healthy relationship should look like. I think if it has anything to do with me and what I think the message I'm getting is you might be scared of embracing this energy or believing that you can experience this energy. You might be approaching love with an attitude of, this isn't possible, this doesn't exist. So let me not even give this energy the time of day. Let me not even give the energy of purity and innocence and sweetness and somebody loving me for me and not wanting to get anything out of me and wanting to cheer me and give me something and be generous and sweet to me for no other reason than just the purity of their heart. Let me not even believe that that's possible. You might be telling yourself, let me not even believe that that's possible, because it's not. And that might be a protective mechanism, right? What I'm sensing is that telling yourself that this isn't possible might be a protective mechanism from your learning, be it through therapy or through psychology courses or videos or reading or self-help. You've gained so much knowledge about what makes a healthy relationship that it's funny that it's like, that's what's so funny is that you know so clearly what makes a healthy relationship that you don't believe it exists. And that because you don't believe it exists, you don't allow yourself to even imagine, right? Here's where the 3 of Wands reverse is coming in. You don't even allow yourself to imagine that you can experience a pure love like this. But I think what the 4 of Swords is telling us is you can put that harsh, rational, I've never experienced it, so it doesn't exist. You can let that sleep, right? And you can rest assured knowing that you know what a healthy relationship looks like. Now all you have to do is let that harsh, rational side of you sleep, the harsh, rational side that tells you it doesn't exist. It's so rare, I might as well not even visualize it. It's so rare, I might as well not even allow myself to believe someone can come in and treat me in a pure, unexpectant way. Through my learning, I've learned that it's what it should look like. But from my experiences, it's been so rare. And I think maybe we're being guided to tell ourselves, well, let me put that sword down that I'm blocking and shielding myself with and telling myself that this is impossible. It's not real. It's so rare. It might as well not be real. Let me put that sword down. And maybe I don't have to say, oh, it's definitely real. It's definitely out there. It's definitely common. But maybe I can say, maybe it's not as rare as I think. Maybe what I know makes a healthy and happy relationship isn't as rare as I think. Maybe being loved purely and sweetly and for who I am and with no expectations or confusion or negativity lingering in the background isn't as rare as I think. Maybe healthy, pure love isn't as rare as I think. I'm hearing not to pull another card. Is that the message? Okay, it said that's not the message, but don't pull another card. You need to intuit more. I don't know what else to intuit. I think what we're seeing here is, like we said, we're struggling to visualize the love that we want. 3 of Wands in reverse. What? Why does it keep doing that? We're struggling to visualize the type of love that we want. Because we feel like we have to fight with logic. That's what's so interesting to me about this card, is that it's literally you're fighting against other wands with your wand. So it's like the energy that you're using to fight against the things that you visualize or affirm for is also coming from that same place of visualizing and affirming. And I think the Death card is speaking to, for one, letting the past reside in the past, right? Part of why we're fighting so hard against visualizing or affirming for or believing in what we want, truly want, is because we're allowing the past to tell us that it's not possible, that I'm not the type of person who gets to experience that in my past, all I've ever experienced was cruelty or coldness or being used or only being wanted for certain things. So I have to fight against what it is I truly want, because I've convinced myself that because of my past, I can't have it. And Death is saying, let that go. Let that past die. Because, and that's the other thing, if you're anything like me, you may be nervous to do that because you're like, well, what if I backslide? What if I start accepting things that I shouldn't? What if I, turn back into the person I was when I didn't love myself as much as I do now, or when I didn't respect myself as much as I do now, or when I, wasn't as comfortable being with myself as I am now. The Hierophant is saying, you won't backslide, right? Because you are the Hierophant. You have studied. If you're resonating with this, you have studied what it is that went, that went wrong in the past, right? You've studied the past deeply. Sorry, my computer screen closed. You've studied your past deeply, and you know now. You have knowledge of why it was unhealthy. You have knowledge of what is healthy. You have knowledge of how you've learned how to value yourself. You've learned how to have standards. You've learned how to put your needs first. You've learned how not to flaunt. I'm not sure what the word is. You've learned not to cross your own boundaries just to get attention or affection, right? So you can let the past die because you aren't the same person that you were in the past. And so you can let the past die. If you think, no, I must hold on to the past so that I never backslide, you're doing yourself a disservice. That's why you may feel like you're in this battle energy, right? Because you're battling against the past. You're struggling to visualize the future because you're saying, no, I cannot let go of my past. Because if I let go of my past, I lose all of my lessons. But the point is, you won't. Because you're the Hierophant. You've learned all of your lessons. It's in you now. It's deep. And that's what we're saying. This it's funny how they landed on top of each other, right? Death and the Four of Swords. This insistence on holding on to the past because it will serve you somehow. The Four of Swords is saying, no, it won't. Put the sword down and rest. Put the sword down and stop being so hyper vigilant about backsliding. If we're being honest with ourselves and we know that we've done the work and we've done the study about what makes for a healthy self-esteem, healthy love, healthy relationship, they're saying, let the past die. Let the old you die. Put the sword down. Stop being so hyper vigilant about keeping the past with you. I can't slip. I can't slip. I can't slip. I can't slip. Let it rest. Let it die. Let the old you die. Let the past die and rest. And allow yourself to believe that you can experience this pure love. Allow yourself to believe that your life now forward is what counts. And from here forward, you can experience this pure love. Because I truly believe once you stop the hypervigilance, once we stop the hypervigilance and dragging the past back up into our life, right? And feeling like we have to battle against it. People who treated you poorly, people who use you for your body, people who use you for access to things, people who were abusive to you, people who had their own problems and were avoidant and emotionally unavailable and immature, and we're wanting to manifest, but we're spending so much time battling our past. Once you put the sword down and stop battling the past and say, I can let it go, I can let it die, and allow yourself to believe that from here forward, I don't have to battle the past. I can become a recipient, a receptacle, if you will. That sounds a little weird, but, of pure love, of healthy love, of untainted love. Watch how your life changes. Watch how love changes for you, right? Watch how maybe this reversed Three of Wands feeling, oh, I can't visualize, it's hard for me to visualize, it's difficult. Watch how that flips around. I think the affirmation for this reading should be, I'm allowing my past to die. I'm stepping away. Isn't that how we started the reading? I'm stepping away from the battles of my past. Those are ghost battles. You've won. You've won those battles. If you're no longer in those types of relationships, if you're no longer attracted to those types of people, if you've really taken to heart everything you've studied and undertaken, these are ghost battles. These are not real. These are battles happening in your head. Isn't that the beauty of it? Like literally, we can just put the wand down, put the sword down, because these battles aren't real anymore. And all that creative energy we're using to battle against ghost battles, ghost armies, ghost soldiers that don't exist anymore, that we aren't experiencing anymore. We can put the sword down and rest. We aren't an active soldier anymore. And we can start telling ourselves, there is no battle, there's just receiving. There's just receiving of pure, genuine love with no ulterior motives, emotional unavailability, emotional immaturity, abuse. There's just pure love. There are no battles. I'm just a recipient of pure love. Maybe an affirmation of, I'm putting my sword down. I will no longer rehash and refight battles that have already long since passed and ended. And instead, I will remind myself constantly, I am worthy of, I am now, and have always been a recipient, a worthy recipient of pure, uncomplicated love. And I am now allowing myself to focus rather than being a soldier battling the past, which was the inverse of this complicated love, immature love, abusive love, toxic love. I am now allowing myself to be simply the recipient of pure and uncomplicated love. I am allowing myself to simply be the recipient of pure, mature, healthy, available, and uncomplicated love. I am allowing myself to simply be the recipient of pure and uncomplicated love. I am putting my sword down. I am leaving the battles of my past in the past, those ghost battles that are long since fought and done. I'm leaving those battles in the past. I am putting my sword down. And I am allowing myself from here forward to simply be the recipient of pure and uncomplicated love. Do you want me to pull another card? Pull another card? Or is the reading done? It's not done. Check the bottom of the deck. Queen of Wands, that's interesting. I checked the bottom of the deck. Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is very much a recipient energy, I think, if we look at it from a love perspective. Queen of Wands has got a handle over all of the wands, right? And she has her sunflower in the back. The Queen of Wands is traditionally an outgoing woman, a sociable woman, a socialite. She's magnetic and has a big personality and makes moves. And I think she's also recipient energy. She is not only open to, she sees herself as a recipient of attention, a recipient of action, a recipient of sometimes maybe even adoration. Applause, right? Maybe that's sort of hinting something to a few of us to step a little bit more into our Queen of Wands energy. Okay. Am I done? I think I'm done. Pull one more card. Okay. Oh, wow. The Magician. I heard pull one more card, and then I got the Magician. We know what the Magician is, the manifestation card. Infinity and everything is available to you through the power of your mind. As above, so below. Everything is available to you through the power of your mind. And when I say everything, look, all the suits, as you probably know, all the suits are available to him. So when we think about love, this pure, untainted, uncomplicated love is just as available to us, right? As this more complicated, fractious, anxious, toxic love. Both of these are available to us in equal measure, but it's our mind. It's what we focus our mind energy on, right, that we attract. So if we focus all of our mind energy on all of the battles of all of the events and incidences of the past that cause us to be defensive and riled up and ready for a fight, that's what we'll keep attracting. But if we focused our mind energy on the type of love we want, let those old battles lay, put them in the past, and focus our mind energy on the type of love we want. Focus on the cup. We can also have that. So I think that's the last card. Yeah, I'm hearing, yeah. That's the last card, and I think it's just really solidifying the overall message here that if we let the past die a peaceful death, if we let these incidences in the past that traumatized us or harmed us or caused us to become defensive and wary and suspicious and disbelieving and doubtful about ever experiencing this type of love, if we let those experiences die, if we let that old us die, if we let that suspicious, doubtful, anxious us die, and just really identify with being simply a recipient of pure, unconditional, uncomplicated, unsullied love and affection. Shift our identity, right? Again, a lot of manifestation concepts come up in these readings. If we shift our identity away from the fighter, the hyper vigilant, hyper defensive, always anticipating the same things that happened to our past to happen to us again, if we shift our identity from that by letting it die, letting that identity die, and shift it into the recipient of pure, unconditional, uncomplicated love. As the magician, that's what we'll get. Because what we identify with on this table and whatever combination of energy, that's who we become. As above, as we identify with in our head, as above, so below. That's what we're going to experience. So shifting our identity to, I identify simply as the recipient of pure, uncomplicated, unadulterated, unconditional love. Just say that to yourself throughout these next couple days. Just say that to yourself whenever you have a quiet moment or whenever you feel this hyper defensiveness pop up again when you start thinking about love and relationships. Just say that to yourself. Well, I identify now. From here forward, I identify simply as the recipient. And you can add giver of pure, uncomplicated, unsullied, unconditional, unadulterated love and affection. I identify as a recipient of that from here forward. All right, guys. I really, really hope that this was helpful. I hope that it resonates and you can take something. If it doesn't, stay tuned. I'll be having more readings again. Like I said, it's rare that I ask for specific messages, but I was called to today. And so I hope that it was very helpful for you. Until next time, I hope you guys stay blessed, stay positive, stay hopeful, stay powerful, and I will see you in the next one.